Clap your hands and stand up. Let's begin some motion and let's tell our brain to get up. Are you feeling me? Are you feeling me? If that's the case, I'ma need you all to give me some energy. Some energy, some energy, some energy, some energy, some energy, some energy, some energy. Oh yeah. Hands up, hands down, jump around. That's it. High five, low five. Now dance, make it sick. Now go, 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 yeah, yeah. All right, all right, all right. I hope everybody's feeling good. Now, kids, I want to do just one more thing. Follow this direction as I give it. Do one thing for me. Jump, 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 jump. Yeah, 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 go crazy. Jump, 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 jump. Now go, 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 yeah. Now go, 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 yeah. Clap your hands and stand up. Let's begin some motion and let's tell our brain to get up. Are you feeling me? Are you feeling me? If that's the case, I'ma need you all to give me some energy. Some energy, some energy, some energy, some energy, some energy, some energy, some energy. Oh yeah. Hands up, hands down, jump around. That's it. High five, low five. Now dance, make it sick. Now go, 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 yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Great African American Read. And I am so excited on tonight as we have an amazing author to share with us his book, author Henry Charles. And also, I'm so glad that Mr. Dibby is here, as well as author Corey Russell. Thank you very much for coming on tonight. Greatly appreciate you both. How are you doing, author
Hey,
Corey?
y'all. Hey, y'all. It's good to be here. I'm excited about this author. I went and I noticed he got a lot of books. I mean, a lot of books. I'm just so excited to hear Mr. Henry Charles today. How's everybody doing?
All right, everybody. Well, I'm good. Thank you very much.
How you doing, author Corey Russell?
I'm doing pretty good. Hope you are.
Same here. So we're gonna go ahead and turn it over to you, author Henry Charles.
All right, how you doing? My name is Henry Charles, and the book that the book that I am going to read to you today is called Stuttering Henry. And when I was thinking about today, like Kyrie was saying, that I had a lot of books, and so I didn't know which route to take. So I normally write a bunch of African American books based on history, but just for kids, because I feel like, when it comes to Black history, that we tend to let the schools go ahead and teach Black history to our kids, but like sometimes, we don't really have a Black history curriculum. We normally have to like find stuff online and stuff to teach to the kids. So I said to myself, you know what, let me start writing books about Black history. And so I just, when I was younger, I used to watch a lot of television. So I would always critique the movies that I watch. So I would always say to myself, well, this movie should have been done this way, or this movie should have been that way. So there's a lot of books that I have that is based off of Black history. when my parents passed away from COVID 2 years ago, um, I just felt like my security blanket was gone, and I just felt like it was just me here. So growing up, I always stuttered, always stuttered, and I stutter now. And so I just felt like, you know what, I want people to know that I stutter. There are times that I'm out with my friends, and it's like I'm still in denial, saying to myself, like, I don't stutter, but I do. So I wrote this book called Stuttering Henry, and this is a series. And so this book that I'm gonna read, it's this is like one of the most vivid moments of my life, because I replayed in my head like almost every day. Well, not every day, but I think about it a lot, and then as someone who stutters, that there is a lot of trauma that I've been through. And so with this book series, I am going to be writing about those traumas that I went through. So this story that I wrote today is like my first time that I stuttered out loud in class in the 2nd grade. So yeah.
You can go ahead and continue. We ready.
Okay. So Stuttering Henry, book 1. Dedicated to my beloved parents, Marie Solange and Henry Charles Sr. Hi, my name is Henry, and based on the title of this book, you know that I stutter. Stuttering is a speech disorder involving frequent problems with the normal fluency and flow of speech. As a kid, I kind of knew that I spoke differently from other people. At home, my relatives and my older siblings never treated me differently. When I spoke, they listened and they waited patiently for me to gather my words. They never laughed. They never told me to hurry up. They just waited patiently. They just loved me and I loved them. I thought my sister Marie and I were twins because we both stuttered the same when we talked. The only difference was her stutter went away. Mine did not. My brother Andre would not stand by while anyone made fun of me. He was feared around the neighborhood. So he was my protector. My sister Karine was fun. I would always race home after school to make it home before her to watch my cartoons. If I didn't make it home on time, she would be home watching her soap operas. And I hate soap operas. If I got home before she did, she would always bring me a sandwich from her high school cafeteria. And I love sandwiches. I would let her watch whatever she wanted if she had a sandwich. Sometimes I would let her watch her soap operas, even if she didn't have a sandwich. I always knew she would keep her promise and bring me something good to eat the following day. I remember my first most embarrassing moment in class ever. It was in the 2nd grade. Miss Vogel was my teacher. I was a very bright kid. I always knew the answers to all the questions, but I stayed quiet. I was afraid to talk out in class. I knew I spoke different from everyone else, but I wasn't at home with my siblings to be patient with me when I stuttered. One day, Ms. Vogel picked on me to read. I didn't think anything of it, so I agreed to read. And that's when it happened. I started to read and got stuck on a word I have said over 1 million times. The word the. No matter how many times I tried, I could not say the word the. No matter how many times I stopped and took a deep breath like my speech therapist taught me, the word would not come out. I was not going to quit. I continued to pronounce the word the. No matter how much I tried, I could only say the. I tried and tried and tried again, but I could only get the out. I was so focused on trying to say the word the that I didn't realize the class was laughing at me. They were loud. I felt like the world was looking, pointing, giggling, and laughing at me. I felt like my life was over. I wished Karine, Andre, and Marie were there to make me feel better. I thought of Karine while sitting there out of breath, exhausted and hungry when I stopped trying to read. I wished she had a sandwich for me. I wished Marie was there so that she can say, "What are you laughing at? I stuttered too." I wished Andre was there to go around the class and thump everyone who was laughing. But they weren't there. It was only me. I felt cold, alone, ashamed, embarrassed, sad, angry, abandoned, dumb, regretful, violated, enraged. I tried really hard to make myself disappear, but it didn't work. It only works on television. I wished I could become invisible. The laughing continued, so I stood up and ran out of the class. I could hear Miss Vogel shout, "Henry, come back here." All I could think of was, why was she shouting at me to come back and not at the kids to stop laughing at me? I ran. I ran until I could no longer drown in their laughter. I blamed myself for even agreeing to read. How could I be so stupid? I made it to the other end of the school, far away from my classroom. That's when I heard a soothing voice similar to my mother's. "Why are you running, young man?" she asked. When I turned around, my face was drenched in tears. The woman wore glasses, but I could see through the lenses. Her eyes were inviting. Her complexion was dark and beautiful. She reminded me of my aunt, Marie Claude. "And why are you crying?" she continued. "They're laughing at me," I said calmly. "Who is laughing at you?" she said as she walked towards me with tissues in her hand, gently wiping my tears. "My whole class. I said as I began crying uncontrollably. That's when she got on one knee to match my height and gave me a hug. I felt warm, loved, special, cared for. She took my hand and walked me into a smaller classroom. She asked me to sit down and that she would be right back. I sat down in a room that had a teacher working with kids. They seemed to be having fun. Seeing that cheered me up. I looked around the room. There were many pictures hanging on the wall. The one that really got my attention was a sign that said, Mrs. Elliott's room. Henry. It was that nice woman again. This time she knew my name. Come with me, she said with a smile. We started walking. I didn't know where we were going. I was too busy looking down at her black Reebok classics. When I looked up, I realized that we were walking towards my class. Deep down, I said, no! I did not want to go back to the class. They were going to laugh at me again. To my surprise, Miss Vogel was standing by the door with my classmates standing behind her. Henry, next time, don't run out of the classroom like that, said Miss Vogel. I was calling you back so that I could get the class to apologize to you. What they did was rude and disrespectful. Their parents will get a phone call about their behavior towards you. Ms. Vogel then stepped aside and all of my classmates took turns apologizing to me. Then they went to their seats. Hearing them apologize made me feel better, even though I would have wanted my brother Andre to pluck them all behind the ears. Still, I appreciated the apologies. Thank you again, Miss Elliott, said Mrs. Vogel. Mrs. Elliott winked, nodded, then exited the classroom. Okay, Henry, come take your seat, said Miss Vogel. I said, wait, to Miss Vogel and ran into the hallway. Miss Elliott, I shouted. She turned around and stopped. I sprinted to her and stopped right in front of her. Yes, Henry, she answered. She interrupted me, smiled, and said, take your time. I'm not going anywhere. That made me feel so good inside that someone understood me. I gave her a big hug and said, thank you. The end. The end.
That's good. Wow.
That is amazing work that you've done there. That is amazingly important work, sir. Thank you for that.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Yeah. I didn't have anything to say automatically because you really need a moment to really digest it. And so that pause was not a pause of like, I don't know, like, what do we say next? But you really need a moment to just embrace what you have done. And you have brought a topic that a lot of people truly disregard, have no intentions of talking about whatsoever, and you have brought it to a forefront, and you have shared yourself not at a vulnerable level, but like at this divine level in itself. So with that being said, like, you know, there were moments I was looking up and moments I was looking down, because Kyra know I'll start crying in a minute, but it was just, it was not like a crowd like, ah, it was just like, wow, you are really sharing yourself. And a lot of people don't do that anymore. So just for you to take your artistry and your creativity and say, this is how I'm going to present myself so that other people will be able to be receptive, because at any core level, regardless of how, whatever your economic demographic, your race, we all meet at that heart core level. So I greatly appreciate you for not being vulnerable, because I think that's a word that is constantly used repetitively, but really sharing yourself. And that's something that we do definitely need more of. So I'm humble that you even came on this platform to even share yourself like this. It's amazing. And so that's why my pause was, and I think I didn't want you to think like we were just not saying nothing. It's just the fullness of what you have presented to us that, and I know the people that are on here together, we're like, you know, everybody need to pause and embrace it, you know? And then also you have family members here that I'm gonna put them in as well, but I just wanna let you know, like, you've done a work.
All right, thank you. I didn't know how people were gonna receive this, because like I said, you know, I have denied, you know, just being a stutterer for years. You know, I was always like, well, I just talk funny, I don't stutter. But you know, we sometimes have to look in the mirror and just like look at us and say, hey, like, these are my flaws, like these are my faults, these, you know, well, if this is what it is, then, you know, this is me, and then I'm gonna accept it. Yeah.
You know, it's honestly a shame that, you know, we have to consider what others might think of something when we're simply trying to express ourselves, or to, you know, like Gloria said, you know, sharing ourselves. It's a shame that we live in a society where, you know, I have to consider that before I can even, you know, consider sharing myself. And I honestly feel like if, you know, we as a society was able to share more of ourselves, that's only going to cause us to understand each other more. And, you know, hopefully, you know, maybe one day we can start to, you know, work towards, you know, being on one accord as, you know, a human race instead of, you know, not really. But I love your illustrations as well, how the only, you know, everything around it was just, you know, sketch, black and white, and how, you know, the characters were the pop of color in each picture. It draws your attention to it. I feel like a lot of time. You go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, well, my artist, I love her. It's like I know how to draw also, but I also feel like if I'm going to be illustrating my books, then it's never going to come out because I'm going to want things a certain way. But I told her to do it that way because once again, being someone that stutter, we always feel like, you know, no one understands us. Mm-hmm. So it's like we could be in a room with like 100 people, and it's like everyone is just talking, you know. But with us, it's like we're going to be very reserved, you know, whether we're asking someone for a drink or whether we're asking somebody for directions, you know. When you open once you open your mouth, it's like you open up Pandora's box, because you don't know what that person's reaction is. So I purposely told her to make everything sketched out, because, you know, when you stutter, it's like you're always like one of whoever's around you, because you always feel like, you know, no one else stutters.
Yeah. And I totally, you know, again, I love how intentional you were with the illustrations. I feel like a lot of times, we try to be as detailed as possible when it comes to illustrating our books, that again, things can get lost in the illustration. And we're so caught up in the pictures that we get pulled away from the actual message as well. And I feel like that simple, elegant illustration that you did throughout the book, I love that. I love that idea.
All right, thank you.
You have done a real mighty work. That's all I can just emphasize and just say. And excuse me if I'm saying it too much, but you've done a phenomenal job off the Henry charge. You've done a phenomenal job. I'm gonna go ahead and mention one of the comments that was listed here, and it's from an author that we're getting ready to have in the next coming days, and his name is Lewis Roberts, and he said, "I love it. I teach kids with varying levels of learning and physical and emotional disabilities. I know that they would love a book with a character that they can relate with."
Yeah, that's the important part. Mr. Charles, where can we find your books?
You could find my books on you could go to Amazon, and you could also go to my website, which is historybooks.com, and history is spelled HIZTORYBOOKZ. Historybooks.com, and those are the two places you could get it: Amazon and my website.
Okay.
Okay. Will they come autographed by you if we order them from your website?
Oh yes. When you order any books from me, they'll be a little bit more than Amazon, but you'll get the books autographed, and it comes in a real cool box. They come autographed. You'll get a history books bookmark and stickers and pencils also.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's really nice. Wow. Also, I know that I just not too long ago requested that we become friends on Facebook, so you can share that information with me. So when I write out the book review, you'll be able to have that book review, and I can tag you in that as well as other things as well.
Oh, all right. Thank you.
Yes, not a problem. I mean, this has been such a delight to have you here. And this has just been a wonderful experience to me. I know that we've had a lot of books to come, and we have more books to review, but this has really touched me in a very special way. And I just want to say thank you very much, because oftentimes when we think about diversity, it's a big thing about diversity inclusion right now. We various, accessibilities and things, and oftentimes this is completely like overlooked and overshadowed. So I just want to tell you thank you, and continue to do the great work that you are doing.
All right. Well, thank you very much for this platform. Well, thank you guys for giving Black authors a chance and a platform to even read to our kids, because reading right now, this is a subject that kids do not like to do. Kids do not like to read, and I'm a teacher, and I know that firsthand. So just to just to try to entice my kids, when I'm writing my books, like I'll show them the books that I'm writing and stuff, and I'll show them the process, and I'll show them the illustrations before the books come out. So they'll be like, "Oh, can we read this book? Can we read this book when it comes out?" So it's just like anything to just like try to pull them in, because right now reading isn't something that is being pushed on them,
If I can just add, I think it's you're doing an awesome job as far as representation. A lot of times we think of representation as just, Black or African American. We're trying to, but it's like there's also people within the African American community that are dealing with different issues that are, grouped separately, and we still keep those groups separately, even though we're all the same race, but representation comes in many different forms. And I think that's why I really enjoy it, because you brought attention to another community, and it's still within, African Americans, we grew up, our, great greats and ignoring certain issues and problems. And it's great that we're finally in an age and a generation to where we can bring attention to those things and have conversations about them. So I commend you for that.
Thank you.
We definitely, if you don't mind, I would love to have you come back on, most likely like in the summertime, for sure. Just to, we'll think of something creative to do, but definitely I want you to come back on for sure to
Definitely
on the platform for sure.
I was just gonna suggest that, Gloria, because once you go to his Facebook and see and I'm sure once you go to his website, you will see those books that he's written. I'm just excited to have you on here.
Can I show you those books?
Yeah, please do. Please do. Let's have Where the Books Reside. Hey, that's what we do. Where the books reside, where the books reside,
So this is my first published novel. The name of it is Very Fine People, and this novel was published in 2019, and this is a novel that I wrote that is based off of the Tulsa, Oklahoma race massacre. So it's this is a revenge story that I wrote, and it's very, very good. I've got 2 schools reading this, one in the Bronx and then one in Texas, and I also wrote a curriculum to this book. So it's got like questions and graphic organizers, but this book is a very good book. It's a novel. My latest release is this book called Medgar Malcolm Martin. I'm a big fan of Malcolm X, and then I love Medgar Evers, and I love Martin Luther King. But I feel like around like Black History Month, we only teach Martin,
right.
Not that we shouldn't teach Martin, but Medgar Evers did a lot of work for civil rights. But I feel like Medgar Evers doesn't get no shine at all. So I wrote a book about the 3 of them, but they're kids. So the name of the book is called The Food. So I'm around kids all the time, and so the 3 of them come together and they protest the food at school. So but it's a real dope story because they meet each other for the first time. So this one is also a series. Now, the book that I just wrote, Stuttering Henry, I mentioned my siblings because I love my siblings. They are older than me, so it's the 4 of us, and I'm the youngest. So like to show them how much I love them. So I wrote a series of books called The Adventures of Cam. So the CAM is an acronym for their names, Kareen, Andre, and Marie. So the first book is about the creation of the Negro Baseball League. The second book is about the 3 African-American women who played baseball within the Negro Leagues. And then the third book out of the series is The Adventures of Cam, Chairman Fred, where which is they learn about the creation of the Black Panthers, and this also focuses on Fred Hampton, because a lot of times, the Black Panthers are demonized when you talk about them, but they started a lot of programs within the Black community, like when it comes to the breakfast programs, the U.S. government, they wasn't offering breakfast to the school kids at school, but the Black Panthers had started the breakfast program, which was adopted by the U.S. government. So now it's like the kids are getting breakfast because of what the Black Panthers started. Then also Fred Hampton, he was only 21 years old when he was assassinated. So I really feel like, you know, the good things that he was doing in Chicago, you know, we don't talk about him at all. And so this is my first written piece, which was a school play that I wrote, which is called The Hologram Room. This is a young girl who goes into this African American museum, and she meets 6 prominent African American figures. She meets Madam C.J. Walker, Harriet Tubman, Medgar Evers, Ruby Bridges, Rosa Parks, and Emmett Till. And like at the end, when she meets Emmett Till, it's a very, 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 very heartfelt conversation that she has with Emmett. And this one is, well, all of my books are good, but this one is like, this one is real good. And then the next book is In the Sky. This is a book that I wrote right after my parents passed away from COVID. Now I could have written a book about like myself missing my parents, but growing up as a Haitian American, I always watched my parents take care of their parents, which is my grandparents. So in the back of my head, like I always knew that once my parents got older, then I was gonna be taking care of them, and then my son would have been watching that and seeing that and knowing that, then the tradition would have kept on going. But both of my parents passed away, so I feel like, you know, COVID took more than just like my parents. They took something away from my son also. So this book is about like how my son saw the pandemic. So in the book, he's like, well, I can't go outside today. Mom and Dad is acting strange. We have to wear masks now. I don't know why. And so you're reading a story basically from his eyes. And then these 2 books I published from author Yolanda Webb. This is a book that we both worked on. It's called It's Not Bedtime Yet. It's a great story. And then this book is called Jake and Josh, Same Love. It's about 2 brothers. They do everything differently, but they both love their mother the same. So this book is written by Nicole Pringle. Yeah, and two of my books are written in Spanish and in Haitian Creole. So I'm working.
You said it. I didn't. You said it. I didn't say it. I mean, I was gonna say you've been doing some work.
We see you. We see you. I'm telling you. Yes, sir.
But again, thank you very much for this platform. You guys are great. Like, this is something that we definitely need.
This is good.
You are welcome. We are excited to meet new authors, and you know, because we don't get to see we don't get to see some of our African American authors in other platforms, and so this is our way. Like, I take and I buy most of these books for my classroom, and every time, you know, the kids are like, "Oh, where did this book come from?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, read it, baby, read it." So I'm always excited to meet new authors. And when I went through your page, and I was like, "Oh man, now that hologram room,
Yeah,
I'm getting that." You wrote it down too.
I wrote it down. You got me writing my notes. I done wrote my notes down. I'm like, hologram room.
Yeah. So thank you so much for coming on here, and we got to have you back. Thank you, sir. Go
All right,
ahead,
thank you
Corey.
very much. I'll be here.
Oh, thank you. We greatly appreciate you. Author Corey Russell, you have anything to say before we log off?
No final words. Again, thank you guys for having me. Mr. Charles, thank you for being on. I enjoyed it. I plan to, invest. I'm just like Dimby. I try to get as many as I can. And it's a message that needs to be out there. So, try to do my part and help get it out there. So thank you again.
All right, thank you.
Definitely. I do know, because I'm going to be doing a keynote speaking engagement on next week, and I think I got to get this book so I can actually include that with that, because we're going to be talking about diversity and inclusion, and so I think this is a good tie-in to that as well. But thank you so much again for sharing yourself divinely with us.
Thank you.
Mhm. Well, everyone, thank you very much for joining us for day number 16 for the Great African American Read In. We have 28 days, but we have 16 of them accomplished already. This has been a magical moment for us all. So again, thank you very much, author Henry Charles, for joining us. Mr. Denby mentioned you to me earlier and was like, it's a person that got a lot of books. He got a lot of stuff going on. So I was like, who is this person? But when you came on, I didn't know you was that person until I said, wait a minute. And then I said, oh yes, this is the person he was talking about. So we commend you and thank you so much for being here. Thank you everyone who have joined us on tonight. Have an amazing night. We are Children's Island, where learning is a breeze. Have a wonderful evening, everyone, and we'll see y'all tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's been real, y'all. Have a good night.